Pebbles Live.
Our next experiment is called Magic Milk. This is similar to our previous experiment. The only difference is that we are using milk instead of water, and here we are going to use different colors of our food dye. So shall we see the things needed for this experiment? First, we would need a plate, preferably a white plate, because only then we can see the different colors. We will need some milk, and we also need food dye. Here I am using different colors: pink, green, red and yellow. So I am using 4 different colors of food dye. However, you can use as many colors as you want. You need just 1 drop of each color, and you will also need the liquid detergent that we used in the previous experiment. So once more, what do we need? We need a plate, preferably white in color, some milk, our food dye of different colors. As I told you, you can use any colors and as many colors as you want. Then we need our liquid detergent, and finally we would require some earbuds. Shall we begin our experiment? So I am going to start by pouring the milk into the glass plate. So the milk has spread out over the surface of the plate. Our next step is to add our food dye. I am adding 1 drop of each of the colors that I have. First I added red, then green, pink and yellow. So it looks colorful now. My next step is to dip one end of the earbud in the liquid detergent, and when I place it on the plate, did you see that? It looks beautiful, doesn't it? The splitting of all the colors. Yes. And why does this happen? Like I told you, it's surface tension. And now when we place the detergent in the liquid, the surface tension gets broken, causing the milk to move away from the earbuds, carrying the food coloring along with it. So this experiment is actually a very beautiful one. The more colors you use, your experiment becomes more colorful. So once again, I'll tell you what we did in this experiment. We first poured the milk in a plate, and then we added our food coloring, 1 drop of each color, after which we dipped our earbud into the liquid detergent and placed it in the center of the plate. And what did we observe? The colors moved away from the center of the plate. So it was a very beautiful sight. You have already seen this experiment, but now you know the science behind it. Hi everyone, welcome to Pebbles channel. I am here to show you a fun way of learning science, that is through experiments. So before we go to today's class, let me give you an introduction about what we are going to learn today. Do you know what are the 3 states of matter? They are solids, liquids and gases. Say it with me once again: solids, liquids and gases. So solids, what are solids? Solids are those substances that have tightly packed molecules. Many things around us are solids. Liquids, as you may know, they take the shape of the container that we pour them in. If you pour a liquid in a bottle, it takes the shape of the bottle. If you pour it into a larger vessel, it takes the shape of that vessel. So, liquids take the shape of the container into which they are poured. And finally, the third state of matter is gas. So, gases are the substances that have loosely packed molecules. Most of the gases are invisible, that is, you can't see them. So, our atmosphere has a mixture of gases around us. Can you name some of the gases in our atmosphere? They are oxygen, which we breathe in, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and many other gases. The experiments that we are doing today are going to involve carbon dioxide. Yes, carbon dioxide. It is a gas that is present in the atmosphere. So what do we know about carbon dioxide? It is a colorless, odorless, and tasteless gas. So it is colorless. It has no color. It is odorless, no smell. And it is tasteless. It has no taste. Then how do we know that carbon dioxide is present? We will find out through these experiments. And from where do we get carbon dioxide? Our plants use carbon dioxide for the process called photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? The process by which these plants produce food is called photosynthesis. And for this process, we need carbon dioxide. We humans and animals breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. So, are you ready to conduct some experiments which involves this carbon dioxide gas? Come on, let's get started. So, like I told you, today's experiments are going to involve carbon dioxide. So, in our first experiment, we are going to make a model of a volcano. Yes, note the word, it's a model. This is not what happens in a volcano. It's just that you can have fun seeing the colors coming out. So what we are going to do today is, we are going to see the reaction when we mix vinegar and baking soda. Yes, these are items found in your kitchen. So when you mix vinegar and baking soda, you will see that there is a fizzing sound and there is bubbles on the surface. So what happens here is, the reaction between vinegar and baking soda forms the gas called, yes, carbon dioxide. And this carbon dioxide gas is what we see as bubbles on the surface of the liquid. And the fizzing sound you hear is also due to the carbon dioxide. Where else do we hear that fizz sound? Yes, in our cool drinks. In the drinks that have gas, when you open it, you will notice a fizzing sound. That is due to the carbon dioxide that is escaping from the bottle of the cool drink that we are opening. So, now we know something about carbon dioxide. And in the previous session, we learnt that in order for the fire to burn, we need oxygen. That is, for fire, oxygen is needed. In the absence of oxygen, there won't be any fire. So, that means when there is carbon dioxide, the fire will not burn. It will get extinguished. So, that is how we are going to detect the presence of carbon dioxide, because I already told you it is colorless, odorless, and tasteless. It cannot be seen. So this is how we are going to detect the presence of carbon dioxide. Another use of this gas is in the fire extinguishers. So like I told you, when there is carbon dioxide present in excess, a fire gets put out. So in a fire accident or any fire emergency, we use the fire extinguisher. You must have seen this in many important places. So now you know the gas that we use to put out the fire. So are you ready to go into the experiments where we are going to see about this gas? Our first experiment is the model of a volcano. To make this model, let us see what are the things we need. We will need a plastic bottle along with a plate. You need to attach the bottle to the plate using a glue gun. So make sure that the bottle stands firmly on the plate. Our next thing is the baking soda. You will need 2 to 3 teaspoons of baking soda. You will also need food dye. You can use any color. Since we are making a volcano here, I am using red because it gives a better effect, because we are going to show the lava. We also need vinegar. Yes, vinegar, we can find this in our kitchen. For better effects, we can use paints. Here I am using spray paint to give a better effect. You will also need some newspapers or any waste paper, a pair of scissors, sellotape, and some warm water. So shall we begin our experiment? Are you ready? Let us start. So we will begin by placing our bottle on the plate. Here I have already done that. The bottle is placed firmly on the plate. Next, I am going to place these newspapers around this bottle to create a mountain-like shape. You can use your imagination here. You know that volcanoes are from mountains. So we are going to make this look like a mountain. It is your imagination that is important here. So after doing this, you need to leave it aside for some time. I have already made one model, so let me show you that. So this is the model that I had already made. It is the same thing. We had the plate, we placed the bottle over that, and around I have my newspaper. And to give it the special effect of the mountain, I have spray painted. So we know mountains are rocky areas, so I have painted it brown. In case you are using spray paint, kindly do it under adult supervision. I have also added some orange to give it the desired effect. So it now looks like a volcanic mountain. All that's left to do is the lava. So what we are going to do next is we are going to pour. We are making a funnel. Now if you notice, the mouth of the bottle is small. So in order for our ingredients not to spill out, you can use a funnel. In this case, I am making a simple funnel out of paper. So you just need to roll it into a conical shape and place it inside. This is for our ingredients not to spill out of the mouth of the bottle. So what is our next step? I am going to add the baking soda into this bottle. So I am adding the baking soda into my funnel. Be sure not to spill it out. You can add 2 or 3 teaspoons. So now we have added the baking soda. Now that we have added our baking soda, let us keep this setup aside for a while. For our next step, take the warm water. Make sure that it is warm when you are using it. And we are going to add a drop of the food dye. I am using red color, and the reason is I need to show lava which is hot. So I am adding a drop of the food dye. You can add a little more too. You can see that the food dye is mixing with the water. You can also use a spoon to make sure it spreads evenly. So now we have our colored water. So we are keeping this aside. Now let us take our model again. Next we need to pour our colored water into our volcano model. Use a funnel to prevent spilling of the liquid outside the mouth of our volcano. Now we have come to our final step where we add the vinegar. Yes. So after adding the vinegar, let us see what happens. Take it up. So now we are adding vinegar. Can you hear that fizzing noise? Wait for some time. You can see the bubbles coming out. You need to have patience for this. Can you hear the fizzing noise? That is because of the carbon dioxide. Yes, I already told you about the carbon dioxide gas. When vinegar is mixed with baking soda, carbon dioxide is formed, and this carbon dioxide is what we see as bubbles, and that is the reason for the fizzing noise. Do you see? Yes. So, did you understand the reaction? When we added vinegar and baking soda, carbon dioxide was formed and we see carbon dioxide bubbles. So this is not what happens in a volcano. This is just a model to show you how the lava, the hot lava, comes out of the volcano. So since we added the red food dye, it looks like red hot lava. I hope you enjoyed this experiment and now you understand the reason behind this experiment. So let us go over what we did in this experiment once again. We began by taking a plastic bottle and fixing it over a plate. We fixed it with the help of glue from a glue gun. You can use any sort of glue to fix it. The next step was we used newspaper. You can use any paper which you are going to give for recycling, or any old newspapers, and we made it in the form of a mountain. So we placed these newspapers around the bottle to give it a mountain shape. And next we painted our mountain. So here I used brown and orange colors to give the desired effect. You can use any color that you wish. So after that, our model was ready. In the next step, we added some food dye into some hot water to form red colored water. We added baking soda into our model, followed by the red colored water, and finally we added vinegar. After few minutes, what was the result? Yes, we saw the liquid coming out of the mouth of the bottle with a fizzing sound and bubbles. So why did this happen? This is because when we mix vinegar and baking soda, carbon dioxide gas is released. This gas causes the fizzing sound, and the bubbles are carbon dioxide gas bubbles. So I hope you enjoyed this experiment, and now we are going to do a few more experiments with the same reaction.
Pebbles Live.